Yeah, well, Mark, you want camera?
Yeah,
I know that MacBook cannot
sound rolling.
Cannot what? Camera one rolling. Hey, the YouTube. The YouTube or the Twitter? Twitter you can see from there. Yeah. Twitter you can see from there. Absolutely. Camera two rolling.
YouTube is live. We're live. I see Pfizer.
Okay, so we're going to begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Good evening, everybody tuned in. Welcome to the Marketing and Data Mind Space. Apologies for the delay in kicking it off. We had some technical difficulties. I think some of you have seen the rain, so we had a bit of issues with the power, but we are now live. You can share the space. You can share, you can tweet it out, you can send it to your WhatsApp links, you can let everybody know that we are now live and everything. Today I'm hosting the president of the Uganda Marketers Society, and this is Mr. David Balikuddembe. I'll give him the mic to introduce himself and tell us about himself, but as of now, it is just me. Let me first make him a speaker on the space. So we are basically we're going to talk a bit about the Uganda Marketers Society and its role in the marketing industry. Then we shall also talk about the confusion between a marketing strategy and a marketing plan. You know, being in the marketing space, I have from time and again been asked to create marketing plans or marketing strategies, and sometimes our clients don't know these things. They don't know what a strategy is. They don't know what a plan is. It's disappointing, but that's life. But today we are here to get it straight from the horse's mouth. This is Mr. David, the president himself. So let me just invite him. To say something, introduce himself, and yeah, get the space started. So, Mr. David, so you can unmute and start speaking.
Hi, thanks Faisal. Thanks to the team. Welcome everyone who is listening online or watching on YouTube. Greetings from the Uganda Marketers Society, the members and executives of the Uganda Marketers Society. My name is David, Faisal, my host, has introduced me. I'm the current president of the Uganda Marketers Society, not very old. I was sworn in about less than 2 months ago. Took over from very capable leadership, and I'm a professional marketer, chartered by the Chartered Institute of Marketing. Also a father, husband, and entrepreneur. So pleased to be here, and I hope looking forward to a very fruitful engagement. Thanks.
Okay, now David, first of all, you just told us you've been president, but we want to know how did you even come to be president? Because some of us have just started our marketing careers. We really don't. I'm just figuring out what the difference between a marketing strategy and a plan. I can't even think of one day being a president of the Uganda Marketers Society. So, before you became president, how exactly did you find your passion for marketing? Has it always been there, or was it just a career switch one time where you just realized, I think marketing is where people are getting money from, like some of us. But if you could just give us a brief intro of your marketing career and how you have actually come to be president of a whole society like the Uganda Marketers Society.
Okay, thanks. Interesting question. So, to be honest, growing up, if anyone had asked me when I was growing up what some of the things that I wanted to be, marketing was never any of them. But growing up, later on, started admiring some of the people in the spaces. So basically, seeing the connection between a product and a satisfied customer, that started becoming a passion for me. So I started out from the angle of marketing research, and this I did without reading any marketing book, any marketing research book, for quite some time. So I learned on the job, grew from an interviewer to, to writing research proposals, writing reports, writing research strategies, and then a number of years down the road, I was like, how about I go to school and actually study these things that I've been doing for a living for some time. So that was my pivoting point. And I pivoted into marketing, did a degree, and went ahead and did the entire suite of Chartered Institute of Marketing professional courses up to level 7. Continued professional development until I was chartered. And yeah, so along the way, it became more of a passion than a profession. And when I started learning about marketers society, this was in school at MOOCs, picked interest, headed the MOOCs Marketing Students Association, and then school was done. There was, from the connections and association that I established at school, most of them were already in the marketing society. So we started engaging work-wise, the work that I was doing, coordinating a few things here and there. And then later on, I got opportunities to volunteer in the marketing society. And then, yeah, that is how one thing led to another. And then when an opportunity arose, I offered myself as nominated and accepted the nomination, and the members honored me with the presidency. So here we are, and looking forward to a very fruitful 2 years.
First of all, I thought I didn't think you were volunteer. I thought it's like a salary.
No, very far from it. Yeah, if anything, because the site is not very old, it's coming to 5 years, so the structures are still being built up. So once in a while, you might find yourself chipping in from your own pocket instead of the other way around. So it's 100% voluntary.
Okay. Now the Uganda Marketers Society. So first of all, the thing that I am impressed about is the marketing association actually has a body that governs it. Yeah, because personally, I am an influencer, and the one thing we have been fighting with is getting a governing body that handles all of us, whether it's voluntary, whether people are being paid, but just a governing body to, uh, one, you're going to have to tell us what UMS does so that we know, us as influencers, if we are ever to start up a governing body or a regulatory body to govern all influencers in the country, it would ideally almost do the same thing as that. Or my other question would be, are influencers welcome to be part of the Uganda Marketer Society? Because I've been in this game for a very long time. I trust these people. No, I lobby for them good deals. Yeah. So if we are failed to set up a society as us, is it possible for the influencer community to be under the UMS? But before you answer that, I want you to tell us all about UMS, what it does, and what exactly it regulates. Because when I see marketeers, I really don't see any regulation needed. I feel like one, it's about creativity. It's about being creative. If you can sell something, if you can get people's attention, do you? The one regulatory body I see we answer to as marketeers or as the media is UCC. But where does the Uganda Marketing Society come in something like this? Possible for a group of people, let's say like now like influencers, to be under the same body, because ideally that is what we do, we market.
Okay. So the Uganda Marketing Society, was a membership-based organization, which was formed around about between 2005 and 2007. Eventually registered with formally with URSP, limited by guarantee. So we're not a profit-making organization. One of the major aims of forming the association was to elevate the level of professionalism, standards, and ethics in the profession. Because, previously, anyone would, even someone who would be able to, compose a jingle about Kimbo or
Oh
Kakira
my
Sugar
God, you must take all it.
or Kakira Sugar or whatever it is would categorize themselves as a marketer. A comedian who would create a skit about a product, position themselves as a marketer, go and approach brands and say, I can market your product, I can do all that. So one of the main aims was to bring sanity to that space and elevate the level of professionalism, standards, and ethics, so that so that at least there's a narrative of this is right, this is wrong in that space, not that anything goes. So that was the main aim. So besides that, others are uh, promoting this academically, marketing as a field of study. Because if you look back maybe 10 years and beyond, people who were doing marketing did not go to school to study marketing.
Yeah.
They were either journalists who found themselves doing marketing, or people transitioned from sales into marketing. And I know there's a big debate between there's a distinction between selling and marketing, but basically to promote it from the roots, higher institutions of learning, higher secondary education, so that one day even a primary school student can say, I want to grow up and be a marketer. So to popularize the profession. To answer one of your questions directly, as influencers, yes, you can. First of all, influencing is a core element of marketing, especially in today's marketing in the digital era. So you cannot hide from influencer marketing. So you very welcome. We have a very I will not say lenient, no, will I say very stringent criteria.
What is the membership fee? Is what I'm interested in.
Membership fee is at the moment very affordable for an individual. It's as low as 50,000 for a student member. If you are not a student, it starts from 100,000 because there are categories of membership. So from 100,000 going upwards, and then corporate or SME membership is also available. Again, in different tiers. So it's very easy to become a member, and basically there's nothing that, for example, that stops you from being a member of ULS.
Yeah, but now, what my other influencers would want to know is how are we going to benefit? Because at the moment, I look for my gigs myself, or clients look for the gigs, they find me. How is me being part of the Uganda Marketers Society going to help me? Yes, both professionally and financially.
Okay. First of all, as UMS, it's a huge forum for networking, because you'll find almost every brand custodian on the platform. So whether it's from banking to insurance to telco, alcoholic beverages, FMCG, development sector, you'll find everyone. Secondly, the other category that you'll be able to find are people that are in the comms and advertising space. So ad agencies and PR agencies, they are all part of the group. So being part of that platform as an influencer, it offers you one an opportunity to showcase what you've got, what you've done, and what you're capable of doing through the various discussions that happen in the different forums. For example, we have an Ignite session every month where we address different topics. Actually, I would invite you to come for the next on the second June where we'll be specifically unpacking influencer marketing. Nothing but influencer marketing. We have a lineup of speakers. We have we've spent a lot of time setting this up. So that for example, that would be an opportunity, to showcase on that level what you can be able to do. So there's a lot that you can get from the platform. There's a lot that you can bring to the platform or the community, both in terms of growing professionally, but also financially, because there's no point in growing professionally if you're going to serve.
I think my influencers will love you. For those who are just joining us, this is the Marketing and Data Mind Space. We meet every Thursday evening. And I also want to let you know that we are live on YouTube. You can just go on our page. This is the CIM and Data Mind page. You will find the YouTube link. It's there. So, David, a lot of professional associations these days claim to do the work, yeah, the regulation and the connecting, like you have said. But I want to know if there's any impact UMS has had, because for you to be president, you must have, seen that UMS is actually doing something that is bigger than networking. Yeah. So I want you to give me: is there anything tangible that you can attest and say, you remember this and this is because of UMS? Do you see why ads are like this and this is because of UMS? Do you see why, let's say, do you see why CIM is in Uganda? It's because of, UMS or something like that. Because I want, by the time people come to join the UMS, they're not asking me about, but what am I going to get apart from networking? That networking, us, we are marketeers, and the number one word we use a lot of the times is networking. You know what I mean? Our bosses tell us go and network as a way of what? As a way of going to work. So apart from come and you network with people and you get gigs, what impact has UMS had on the general landscape of Uganda in general, the Ugandan marketing, let's say, sector or landscape? Yeah, whether it be it physical or regulation wise. I want to know, I want to go out there and sell UMS and tell them, do you see even all these billboards on Kampala Road? they belong to UMS, something like that.
Okay, I'll start from where you ended at. Right now, we've started a conversation to transform UMS into a proper, to run the UMS an independent business. So besides the professionalism and academics and all, to be able to have UMS self-sustain itself, from its activities. So that's a conversation that has begun. But in terms of what we have brought on the table within the industry is one, since inception we have signed a formal partnership with the Chartered Institute of Marketing. So we are the official representative of the Chartered Institute of Marketing here in Uganda. And through that partnership, we are mandated to promote the Chartered Institute of Marketing in Uganda. So thereby promoting professionalism, standards, and ethics in the industry. CIM appoints ambassadors within UMS to push forward some mandates. One is for business development, another one is to coordinate higher institutions of learning, and there's a third one. And it has been done in such a way that as a president of the Marketer Society, you automatically become a senior CIM ambassador in the market. The other thing that we are doing right as we speak, we are in the middle of joining the Africa Marketing Federation. which is a continental body bringing together national marketers associations across the continent. It's now right now comprised of about 13 member associations, and I think by the time we are joining, it will be about 15, 16, right from Southern Africa, East Africa, and Western North Africa. So that is work in progress as well. A few other things that I can highlight is, for example, currently we've seen whenever a marketing position is advertised in the newspapers or whatever forum, you'll find almost always a professional qualification as a requirement, which was not the case in the past. And the other thing that we are helping the industry with is a few organizations have reached out either to ask us as UMS to recommend from our pool of marketers competent people to fill positions in different organizations, or on the flip side, have invited us to sit on interviewing panels when they are recruiting and sourcing marketing talent to make sure that they recruit the right people. So it means that indeed the gospel is going out there, that we are the custodians of standards and ethics when it comes to marketing. Those are some of the things that I can highlight in a short time.
Okay, so does it mean that the strategies for globalization? Because I'm hearing you are talking to the CIM, and now you guys are, you have a partnership, literally a legal binding partnership with CIM, and you talk about the Africa Marketers Confederation as well. So is globalization part of the marketing strategy of UMS? Actually, if you could actually talk about the marketing strategy, because it is the topic of today, is that the strategy behind the entire movement?
Okay, you mentioned earlier that if one of your own, one of your influencers asked you that coming to the UMS, what do I benefit? What do I gain being a member? What do I have over someone who is not a member? So all these efforts are geared towards elevating the level of value that members accrue from the marketer society. We want to reach a place where, if there's an opening in Kenya in the marketing space, it is opened up. Ugandans can compete at the same level ground with Kenyans. Same as UK or South Africa or West Africa, because we've seen marketers come from South America, from South Africa to come and fill sometimes not very senior marketing positions here. So why not open up and we play on a level field? So we are conscious of the local and domestic needs, but we are deliberate and intentional about giving EMS a global outlook, and that is why it's the partnership with CIM. If you're doing some of those CIM assignments, some of the case studies that you're looking at have a global outlook, looking at Vodafone or Manchester United or Coca-Cola South America. So we have a very outward strategy in mind.
All right. Leading up to today's space, I ran a poll on the data mine page. So I just wanted to see, are people well versed with what a strategy is, vis-a-vis a marketing plan is? And I was shocked. People don't know. People don't know. I'm not going to blame people because, like you said earlier, that back then most of the people who were entering the marketing scene had actually not studied about it. They didn't know about these things. They just, I love this. I love talking to people. I love doing more than selling. Let me join the profession. So I found that one, people think a marketing plan is a strategy and a marketing strategy is a plan. Yeah, because there's a question I asked, and I was telling people this is what the question was. So it's a trivia, and I was asking people, it's a company's long-term plan of action that aims to promote their products and services. Ideally, this is a strategy. because a strategy is a long-term plan. But about 3 or 4 submissions I got both on Twitter and LinkedIn were marketing plan. They're like, I think that's a marketing plan. Because probably from the school of thought you come from, when you tell anyone you plan for that, instantly that's something long term. You strategize, that's short term. I can just strategize for this meeting right now, right this moment. So I want you to just differentiate for us the difference between the two. What a marketing strategy actually is and what a marketing plan is. Me as me, I'm going to benefit because I'm telling you, before this week, people will talk to me. I want you to promote my business, do this, and then I come and like, do you have a marketing strategy? What is that? And I'm like, shit, it is what you're going to post on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So I found out I've been in wrong the whole time. I've been selling something completely wrong. Yeah. I want you to just walk us through what exactly a marketing strategy is and a marketing plan is while you're relating it to UMS.
Okay. Very, very intriguing question. So a strategy and a plan are some of those many words that are thrown around loosely to mean anything to fit the circumstances.
Thank you, because I will tell them, do you have a marketing strategy? Because I want to, I know.
And there's a lot of there's a huge debate between a strategy and a plan. What comes first? What comes last? What is bigger? What is the subset of the other? So I'll first throw it back to you very quickly. If someone asks you, you probably need to do something. Just like you say, if someone asks you that you want to do this, but do you have a plan? Versus someone asking you, so what is going to be your strategy? Which one is bigger? Which one feels bigger?
Yeah, I feel like a plan is bigger.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Because a plan is a much bigger thing. A strategy, if anything, is a very small component of a plan. And, they are, so these words can be used, in a conversation, in a drink up, or watching a football match. This football match, this whole team doesn't have a plan. I think today they didn't come with a strategy. So already you can see that a strategy is very immediate, it is executional in terms of this is what we are going to do, but a plan is much bigger. So there are people, fortunately, that have spent a lot of time, a lot of resources, so many years putting together frameworks that can guide people to develop both of these things, a strategy and a plan, or a strategy within a plan. And one of those frameworks that I've found very useful, that I've used extensively both in academic assignments and also in clients' assignments, is the source stack strategy. It's a very world-renowned strategy developed by now a friend of mine called P.R. Smith. I don't know if he's listening.
Yeah. In this weather.
Yeah. Paul Smith is a very good friend of mine. Recently met him in UK, and this is one of his latest publication on writing a perfect plan. Now, fortunately, we are working on a plan to bring Paul Smith to Uganda. Like I said, as part of enhancing the value that marketers can derive from the society. So we are working with him to see that he comes to Uganda and meets different groupings of people, training and brainstorming and workshopping with them on how they can improve their planning skills and competencies. But even before that, even before we bring him physically, we are planning on a way of engaging where he will be offering us an online webinar on a quarterly basis. So if I were you, I would run really quickly and train members, because these webinars will be free for UNS members. But having said that, I will quickly go through my understanding of a plan and a strategy using the SOSTAC framework. Because SOSTAC is an acronym for situation analysis, followed by objectives, to strategy. So you see how strategy comes in the middle of the plan. Strategy, tactics, actions, and then control. So situation analysis is basically analyzing where you are now. And SOSTA can be used for any plan, even for a bridal shower or house party. So where are we now? In terms of for purposes of our business and marketing, it involves, who are my customers? So you profile them nicely, whether by age or gender or social class or behavior, whichever segmentation mode you want to use. Then some of the things like why do they buy, whether from you or by competition. Then where are they? Whether online, are they on Twitter, are they on LinkedIn, are they on Facebook, are they on Instagram? If it's physical, geographically, where can I find them? Traditional media, is it on radio? Is it on TV? If it is radio, which station? If it is TV, which station? Not only which station, but which program. Then still on situational analysis, look at things like competitors. You know your competitors. Who are they? So to analyze your competition, you can use, there's a plethora of tools. You can use a SWOT analysis in terms of what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses, what are their strengths, what are the opportunities that are available. You can use, for example, the other models like Porter's competitive analysis tool. You look at are there barriers for entry in this industry? What is the bargaining power of my supplier? If they have a high bargaining power over you, then you are in a weak competitive position. What is the bargaining power of your customers? If they can dictate price and things like demand, then you are in a weak competitive position. So there are so many tools that one can use to analyze the competition. Then you can use environmental analysis in terms of the political environment, economic, social, technological environment, ecological things like sustainability, the environment and things like that, and then the legal landscape. If you're planning on starting an online shop, an e-commerce business, and Facebook is blocked, what are your chances? So that is how you analyze that, the technological or legal environment. So there's so much about the situation analysis that, according to Smith, it should probably take 50% of the time and space when you are doing a marketing plan or any plan for that matter. So it's based on the situation analysis that you now go to the strategy. So a strategy is the smallest part of the plan, and it's between which alternative, what alternate courses do I have, and which one do I go with. In other words, it is how do I overcome the biggest obstacle, the biggest challenge that you have identified from the situation analysis. So it's basically how to get to your customers' goal at the end of the day, or how to satisfy your customers at the end of the day. So again, there are different models. There's, for example, again Porter's competitive analysis model, where you decide whether to differentiate in terms of let me identify a niche and serve that niche of customers, which again comes from understanding your customers. Or do I use a cost approach? So produce very cheaply and sell to the masses. Or do I so you can see already the different courses of action that are available and which one you decide to take. So that is the strategy, deciding which course to take among others. There's another one, I forgot what's the technical name, but it's basically whether to sell the same products to existing customers, or sell a new product to existing customers, or sell an existing product to a new market, or so there are four alternatives, or take a new product to a new market. So that is a strategy based on what has come of your situation analysis. From the strategy, now you go to the tactics. Now, many people mistake tactics for a plan because um, tactics is a breakdown of the strategy. You can use, for example, a marketing mix, which you're very familiar with. So, from the product, your price, to your channels where you sell at, to the biggest one, promotion, which sometimes people limit marketing to promotion. But there's these other ones that I started with. So promotion being whether you advertise, do you do PR, do you do CSR, do you do stakeholder engagement, do you do sales promotion, the traditional promotion that we see. So this is a communications, a whole communications mix. What do you use to take the message to your customers? And there's also you can choose between offline and online tactics. Within online, it's where you find the whole digital tools, which sometimes we limit ourselves to in terms of a campaign. You can decide if it works for you. You say, I'm going to use influencer marketing alone, or influencer marketing and maybe out of home communication, or social and radio. Because today you need to meet your customers at different touch points and give them an omnichannel experience. From tactics, you go to actions. Now that is the actual work now. Pull your sleeves up and do the actual work. So actions is who does what and when. So maybe a work plan of sorts. So you say, our campaign will run for a year. In the first quarter we'll do radio, quarter two we'll do influencer and maybe social, quarter three we'll do an event, and so that is the actions. And the last bit is control, because any action without control is definitely bound to cause problems. So control is measurement. How do you decide that you're succeeding or failing? And again, there's a millions of metrics that can be used from online to offline. So that makes a comprehensive marketing plan. So you can see that strategy is a very small, it can be less than half a page in terms of, and then situation analysis can be anything between 10 to 30 pages.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you so much for highlighting that because me personally, most of the time I get people who need help building a marketing plan, short strategy. They're small businesses. So it's not like Coca-Cola is going to come to me and say, hey, you know what, Pipe, do for us a marketing plan. No, that's not how it works. So I'll be there seated, and then a restaurant will come to me and they're like, hey, you know what, we want to boost our sales. How are we going to do it? Now, from the few marketing podcasts I've listened to, because you have to understand I also fail in this profession. I'm just now studying at data mining. For those who don't know, data mining is a CIM accredited study center. You can enroll and yeah, be like us. Anyway, back to the point. So the business comes, they're like, you know what? Restaurant, I have one location. I'm not like Java's or anything. And I want you to do for me a marketing plan. Yeah. So I'll sit down, talk to the client, get the basics of what they want. What exactly do you want your business to do? What exactly do you want your restaurant to do? Do you want it to be a high end restaurant, an every person restaurant, or a fine dining restaurant? Once I get exactly what the picture that they want, I'll sit down, open my Word document because I'm one of those traditional people who doesn't trust templates. I've realized most of the time we download templates from the UK, the US. Things don't make sense because our market is different. So I'll sit down. This is what I'll do. I'll sit down. I'll write a small biography about the business, about 50 to 100 words. The introduction. After that, I'll do a customer analysis. So this is demography, price, geographic segmentation as well. those are the three. Those are actually the three I do because they kind of make sense in Uganda. Yeah, geography, demography, and price. Demography is age.
That is situation analysis.
Situation analysis. Wow. Then after that, I'll do a SWOT analysis. Yeah, but me, I've grown up from this school of thought of customers first. So every time I'm working on anyone's plan or anyone's business or anyone's project, I'm thinking about the customer first as opposed to the competition. Yeah. And then I'll do a SWOT analysis, show the person their strengths, their weaknesses, their opportunities, their threats. And then after that, I'll go into what I call the strategy actually, because at the beginning that's a plan. Then I write marketing strategy. So I'll start physical promotion. I've realized I've been skipping the marketing mix because I feel like that would be an added advantage. But because I know my people, they don't like reading. They want to see who is my competition, who are my clients, how am I going to reach them. Ideally, that's how my document is. So the bulk of the document is the strategy bit where I highlight, okay, we have the physical promotion and we have the digital. So I'll first start with the physical. How exactly are you going to sell your business within your premises because it's a restaurant. So at this point in time, I'll talk about the menus, the customer care, the promotion nights, um, yeah, the nitty-gritties of how to promote a restaurant, but in-house. You know, the branding, branded napkins, maybe the scented atmosphere, and then after I'll go to digital. So this is where I'll put Facebook and do a whole 10-point plan of how you're going to promote the restaurant on Facebook, Twitter, literally all social media platforms. Then I'll jump to website because most of the time Ugandans don't want to do anything about a website, which is disappointing. Then I'll summarize with YouTube, email, newsletter, everything literally you can do digitally to promote the brand. Is that a marketing plan? Is that a marketing strategy? Because that is what I have been doing for all the 2 years I've been working for people.
That is a comprehensive marketing plan. The only element that is missing is structuring it, or putting it in a structured presentation, because and that is where frameworks like SOSTA come in, and there are many others, but I just highlighted SOSTA because it's one that I've used most, and it's the one that I found to be widely used, because you started very well, because that is indeed the situation analysis. So what I did keep in there was the objectives.
Yeah.
So once you do your situation analysis, it is followed by the objectives. In other words, where do you want to go? Where do you want to take this business in the foreseeable future? 1 year, 3 years, even 6 months or 5 years. So which are 1, 2, or 3, in terms of basically echoing the vision of the business.
Yeah.
The vision bearer. What do they? Where do they want to see their business a few years down the road?
No, it's okay.
Then, then from the objectives, you go to the strategy. So basically, you combine the strategy and the tactics, but the strategy should be very clear. It should be there should be no doubt whatsoever about your strategy in terms of how do you want to address that whole analysis that you did, the SWOT, the customer analysis, the analysis of the environment, the weaknesses that you have identified in there. How do you overcome them? How do you leverage your strength? And how do you take advantage of the opportunities that you have identified in the environment? Then now, the whole digital mix that you mentioned comes in the tactics, and within one component of the tactics, which is promotion. Promotion not in the sense of a sales promotion, but the promotional component of the marketing mix. So, and that comes with both traditional and digital tools. So that is why you have, and then within digital, you have again so many weapons that you can use, and that is why you have the different platforms that you mentioned. So I don't know whether you put in there the action. It would be like a work plan in terms of what should be done when,
Yeah.
and then finish it up with a control element in terms of how do they measure if they are getting it right or they are getting it wrong.
Wow.
And this should be periodic, whether daily or weekly, monthly, quarterly, or annually. And this really varies with the business in terms of what exactly do they want to measure. If you're starting out, it's okay to measure um, vanity metrics like likes, follows, and stuff like that. But with time, these have to translate into actual value in terms of either revenue or profitability and things like that. So there's a lot to measure, and there are so many tools online that you can employ.
Mm. Well, I mean, it's a better question because ideally, it's so funny when you enter the profession and you haven't studied, you have this impression of you know everything, you know, because this is what this is the high horse I was riding on all over the place telling me I know how to do a marketing plan, I can do for your strategy, just call me. But everything you've talked about, and the one thing that I've seen that is really important is how they measure the metrics, like how they know this is actually going to work. So, what you have talked about, is there a specific template that's going to highlight exactly what I'm supposed to feed in on every level, or I literally have to rewatch this today's episode, write down write down everything word for word, and then understand and be like, okay, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. Is there a template I can work with?
Um, yeah, so you can have a template of sorts and then populate it from the information that, for example, you have all the information. You just need to place it nicely to be able to, because if you don't set proper objectives, then what will you measure at the end of that?
Yeah.
So you can draw so stack diagram on a flip chart and then go and populate it with your team. But most importantly, like I said, Pierre Smith himself will be speaking to us. The first time will be next month, then quarterly, and again, and like I said earlier, we are looking forward to hosting him in person later on this year, where he will, brainstorm, we'll ask questions, try and punch holes in this framework, stress test it. Different industries. If you are able to challenge him and say, "Source cannot work for my industry because of FACP," you're all welcome. So you can read and start using it. You can write to him. You can borrow my book.
I'm definitely borrowing the book. That book is telling me. Okay, let me just ask you one last question for the viewers out there. The one thing I always get when I'm speaking to some of my friends or relatives, now that they believe in me, they always ask me, but does my business need a marketing plan? Because people have this thing of if it's a side hustle, I can just execute it. I mean, it's like I'm selling rolls, or it's like I'm selling chapati. All I'm doing is selling clothes online. All I'm doing is designing websites. These are sort of the big answers I get. So I approach the client and I tell them, you know what? It doesn't matter what your business is. You do need a plan. But that's me speaking because I want the money. Now, from a realistic point of view, my friend who is out there and they are selling clothes online or they are selling, shoes online, do they really need a marketing plan, or they can just football that until they feel like, okay, now I'm ready to exit this market?
Okay. Personally, I believe every venture, however small, needs a marketing plan, because marketing in the strict sense of the word is about anticipating the needs of customers and satisfying them profitably.
Yeah.
Because as long as you have an addressable audience, so people that you need to consume your products, and you need to make a profit. And you're not a monopoly. People have that liberty to choose between you and the next guy. You can be a border rider, you can be a Rolex guy. You need a strategy to address the challenges of the industry, of the business, or the hustle itself. Yeah, so the short and long of it is that I do believe personally that every venture needs a strategy, even if it's not for profit, even a church, even people. Think of anything.
Even NGOs, the non-profit, not-for-profit organization.
Yes, those are they spend the longest sleepless nights putting their strategy. Because
Yeah.
as opposed to a business that wants to attract customers, theirs is attracting investors, attracting donors. So they have to market to the donors,
Yeah.
meaning that they have to present a very compelling case for them. Otherwise, they will be out of business or out of
Out of money. Okay, thank you so much. Just before I close this off, if there are two things people could take from this space, I'm saying two because I know you have to say something about UMS, but I also want you to say something about today's topic of discussion. So, if there are two things you want people to take away from today's show, what are those two things?
Okay, from a marketing angle, I think, like you mentioned, it's about measurement. Um, so as a marketer, you need to. It's very important to know what to measure and the tools to use to do that, because the biggest challenge that we've had as marketers historically is that we are looked at as a cost center, especially by the finance people, the procurement people, the C-suite. They want money for a promotion, and that is because we have not trained ourselves to speak their language. So measurement enables you to do that and say, okay, I'm asking for X amount of dollars,
Resources.
and the reason why I'm asking is that if I don't put in place A, B, C, D, this is what is going to happen in the next 1 year. But if I put in place these interventions, this is where I will be, and it is measurable. You can attribute every outcome to every effort, and in a language that they understand. So numbers basically. So metrics brings a game of numbers to marketing, and it enables marketers to discuss at the same wavelength with finance, with the C-suite, procurement, and so measurement is very important.
Yes.
Secondly, is like you predicted, is a plea basically to all marketers out there. Do not lock yourself in and say, me, I'll do my thing. Let's come together and take marketing to the next level. And that is our rallying cry for our administrations for the next 2 years.
Speak to the influencers as well.
2nd June, please be there at Ignite at Motive Ignite session. Let us unpack influencer marketing.
Okay. Thank you so much for everyone that tuned in. For those people who are watching this episode later on, it's been episode 8. This is our 8th episode. So 8 is your lucky number. Yeah, and the president of UMS Uganda Marketer Society, and he has unpacked everything to do with UMS, the importance, and I as an influencer, I'm going to be the first person. I don't know if you have any influencers, but I'll be the first person. I'll tell the gospel, don't worry. Once they see me getting the gigs, they will join. Yeah, and thank you so much. Until next Thursday, it's been the Marketing and Data Mind podcast. So, goodbye.
Cheers, thanks for tuning in. Have a great end of the week.
All right. End stream.